Thanks for the weather update, Jamie. Now, the Miami Valley loves McDonald's.
Yes,
I am one of those lovers. And 2 News was on the scene this morning as the new McDonald's in Kettering opened their doors bright and early at 5 a.m. But get this.
My goodness.
I know, but it gets crazier. Some people were waiting for the doors to open since 8:30 last night.
Wow.
Sleeping over.
They wanted that Egg McMuffin really
Apparently.
bad.
Now, people had been waiting with bated breath for the restaurant to reopen. It's been closed for months for renovations, including new golden arches. So here we go. There's the interior of the new McDonald's. It looks really
Look
nice.
how nice
actually.
that looks. That's very sleek.
Very chic. I'm impressed.
It is. I like the paneling and everything. That's not what you expect with a McDonald's.
Would you wait at 8:30 the night before just to
No.
witness that?
I would take my chances of not making it, you know, for the, what did they stop serving breakfast, 10 o'clock?
Yeah, 10:30, I think.
Something like that. That was always a big
never
joke
on
when I was a
time. I
kid.
never make it for breakfast.
Saturday morning, my mother was obsessed with Egg McMuffins.
So she had to
And
get
she
there.
always wanted to go to McDonald's and get an Egg McMuffin. And we would never make it before, because you sleep
It's
in on a
ridiculous,
Saturday. We would never
exactly.
make it before they stopped serving it.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I don't know about sleeping over, but I'm sure there was some sort of incentive to being there when the doors opened. Maybe the first 100 people got some. I don't know, but otherwise, why not just go to a McDonald's that's already open without having to sleep over?
Maybe they wanted to say that they were the first ones to lay
first
eyes on a
ones to
beautiful
witness.
new McDonald's. By the way, it's in Kettering.
Yes,
we should say.
and it is beautiful indeed. I'm impressed. It's a nice
I
McDonald's.
wonder if all the McDonald's in the country are going to do that.
I don't know, but I will be there to report back.
Next
Absolutely.
time. Next time,
All
Zuri will
about
be
my
there.
double cheeseburger.
Moving on from McDonald's, there's a really thought-provoking argument from writer Vicki Larson. So she's written a book with the focal argument being that we need to change or actually do away with the notion of till death do us part when we get married. She says it should be shifted to till the kids part, because she says couples should agree to stay together only until the last child goes off to college. Here's why. Because parents go through huge personal changes once they become empty nesters. The need of the children goes away.
Okay.
And a lot of people, she argues, are going to need something really drastically different than they
Right,
needed when
but-
they first
oh
got
gosh.
married.
I just don't agree with this at all. I think that just takes away from the sanctity of marriage, for one, and second, a marriage is between two people. It's with kids, without kids. That's your commitment to the other person, regardless of what you go through in your life. So it's like, okay, now our kids are out of the house, so now we readjust and figure out who we are as a couple without them. It's not, the kids are gone, so now let me find someone else who works for me in this moment of my life.
There is something to be said for that argument, because generations have before, it seems like this generation has that mentality.
Yeah, like easy fixes.
Our
and-
parents, our grandparents, even before that, have done it. But then the other flip side, playing devil's advocate here, is that, you know, even though they stayed together,
Yeah.
a lot of people were desperately unhappy.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
So, I mean, I'm
catch-22,
touchy
I
with this
guess.
one, because I understand both sides.
Well, which one do you lean closer towards? I mean, being engaged
If I had to
yourself.
pick, no, if I had to pick a side, I would go with what you were saying, because to me it almost feels like you're conceding defeat before anything has ever happened.
Yeah.
Which, you know, that's very pessimistic to me.
Well, I mean, the same can be said even then with the prenuptial agreements and things like that, planning for the fall of a marriage. I think I kind of get the prenup thing, actually, but what do you think about this? How about that? We'll throw
Yes.
it to the viewers. Let us know how you feel. Does the author have a point? Sound off on Facebook or Twitter. Talk to us there. I would love to
It's
hear your
interesting.
opinion on that.
It's a very thought-provoking argument. I like that
It really
one.
is. Now, another really thought-provoking article, writer Katia Heder for CNN.com says she's stopped forcing her daughter to offer hugs or any other physical affection to anyone that she doesn't feel like touching because she doesn't own her child's body. And in her words, she says, "I will not override my child's instincts to back off from touching someone she chooses not to touch." And some child experts are actually agreeing with her. One cited in the article says forcing children to show physical affection when they don't actually want to teaches them that their body is not their own. You know, it's an interesting idea, because growing up, we do what mom and dad say. Oh, give whomever a hug, or that's your uncle, say hello, or you know, and so you kind of do what they say.
I mean, I remember being uncomfortable in those situations, but at the same time, I think situations like that are helpful in teaching kids that you can't always do what you feel like doing. You know, you have, sometimes there's protocol,
Right.
there's decorum that you have to maintain, and even if it makes you uncomfortable, sometimes you just got to grin and bear it. And maybe it's a good lesson for the future.
But this is really an interesting topic, one that I hadn't thought about before. But is that something that you should tell your kids they should grin and bear physical contact with someone that they otherwise would not want to physically contact?
See, that's touchy. This is so
Yeah.
touchy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, grin and bear it in the sense that you don't want to insult someone when they've done nothing and they're just trying to be kind back to you.
Right.
I think it's a good lesson. Maybe this is this is a great, I think, door to open on the conversation.
Sure.
I don't necessarily agree that you should just be like, kids do whatever you want, but I think it's an interesting foray into this subject.
It definitely is.
Well,
It's an interesting one, too.
We
We have some touchy, hot topics
I
today.
know. There's no one way to go with these,
Right.
both of them.